Hi there, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to take a quick look at setting up a website, and I do mean quick. This is going to be the fastest I can do it. No race, no rush, but we don't want this to be a huge performance or a huge faff for you, so we'll make it as easy as possible. Bonus points, it's also going to be very reasonably priced. First of all, you might think, well, why do I even need a website? Well, it's 2024. Everything has a website. Everybody has a website. You need a website for your author presence. You want your own place on the internet. Now, you might be a heavy Twitter or X user, you might use Facebook, you might use YouTube, you might use any of these social media sites. But at the end of the day, you're creating content that's going to live on someone else's website. And at any point, the people who run that website or own that website might decide they don't want you there anymore, or you might decide that you don't want to be there anymore. These places change. Think about all the bands who had MySpace pages, and they printed it all in their cover notes or everything, and then, oh, MySpace is no longer relevant. If you've got your own website, that address is always going to work. You can keep it, you can change it whenever you want, you can update it, you can modify it, you can control your own online presence, which is definitely a good idea. So, let's have a quick look at a little presentation. Beginning a website, the fastest and cheapest way. What do you need to get started? You want an idea for a domain name. This name's going to be your address on the internet, so you want something that's fairly easy to remember, fairly easy to spell. You might want your name plus author or writer. You might want something that's related to your genre. You might want something like the title of your book. It's really up to you, and again, you can always change this in the future and make a new one, but ideally you want one that you can stick with. So most people just pick their name. If your name alone is available, that's fantastic. If not, add author, writer, books, something like that, and you'll almost certainly find it's available. If you use a pen name, you probably want to use that. If your name's particularly hard to spell, you might want to think of something else. Queeve MacDonald, for example. The name Queeve is spelled Caimh, and I think he got sick of having to spell it out for people, so his website is whitehairedirishman.com, because he is a white-haired Irishman. Need a little bit of time to do this. Like I say, it's quick. It's more than 5 minutes, but it's less than an hour. You really don't need very long. And you need some thoughts about what to put there. Let me just turn the camera off so you can actually see that. This is going to be a little basic placeholder for now. All I'm going to do today is basically set it up with something. But you might want a short piece of information about yourself, like your bio, a photo of you, or a book cover, or even just links to your social media. So have a quick think about what you want to put up there. Again, you can change this any time. Takes a minute. A few optional extras. You might want some art for the page, like you might want your book cover, you might want your photo, you might want things like that. And you might want some tea, just to keep you hydrated while you're working. And remember, it's not going to be hard. I'm going to make this as easy as it can be. If it's particularly difficult to do, or if it's particularly hard to update, that's going to add friction to the process. You're not going to update it. It's going to be out of date. No one's going to look at it, and what's the point? You want something that's nice and quick and easy and simple. We're not going to tie you into any single provider, for the same reason as we don't want you just using Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or whomever else. If you're stuck on one provider, if they ever decide that you're not worth the effort, you've got a huge amount of work to do. This way, you've got as much flexibility as possible, but without adding too much complexity. And you can always make changes later. This isn't the final form of your website, this is just what your website looks like today. And we're going to keep it simple. You really don't want to be messing about with something hugely complicated, especially not if you're just getting started. It's not worth the effort. Set a low goal, make something quick, easy, good looking, and that's what we're going to do today. So, this is my current website. This does not follow all of these rules. I've been at this a while. I've got quite a few books on there, as you can see. I've also got a blog. You can see I've got journal, stories about me, a shop, a podcast, books. We're not doing this today. This is too much for a beginner. I didn't have this when I started. This has grown over time because of what I thought I needed as I went along. I should probably also mention I have a separate website that is just the books. Now this is run through a site called Story Origin, which I'm going to come to in a future video, but just to give you another idea of what a website can look like. This is nice and basic, it's just got my books, and if you click on them, it takes me to a buy page. Right, WordPress, very, very common website for people. Let's get rid of the cookie warnings. Very common website, lots of people use this. It's very, very powerful, very, very flexible, but it is also a little complicated. It takes a bit of time to learn, takes a bit of time to understand. Now, these are the prices. For a very basic website, you can pay £3 a month. Now, whatever that is in dollars. They bill it annually, but that's not important. You get a free domain, which is nice, access to dozens of themes, ad-free experience, and you get SSL. Now, this is quite important. You do want SSL. You also get support via email. That's a pretty good deal, and you can always upgrade it as you go. Now, if you want all the premium themes, you're up to £7 a month. And if you want to install plugins, and one of the big advantages of WordPress is it has a lot of plugins. You can make it do anything and everything you want. That's now £20 a month. Now, that's a lot for a website, especially if you're not making that with your books yet. If you're just getting started, you don't want to be spending that much money. Now, that lets you do live chat support, and you've got firewalls and selling and reduced fees and backups. And it's almost certainly worth the money, but it's not worth it now. This isn't what you need. Now, this is hosting through WordPress themselves. They are the people who created the app. They know what to do with it. You can get basic WordPress hosting from other people. This is one called Namecheap, and they will do this. Now, you see, they can bring it down from as little as £1 a month, or $1 a month there, $1.50, $2, $4. You get a bit more there. But you only get SSL when you come up to about $3 a month. So you're looking at that sort of price. There's other options. If WordPress is a bit complicated, and again, if you're not a particularly tech-savvy person, it might be too much for you. By all means, have a play with it. You can play with it for free. You don't have to stand up a proper website. You can just have one and have a play and see if you like it. If you do, great. If you don't, there's other options. Somebody like Wix, for example. Now, they're a sort of drag and drop editor. They give you some nice templates to start with. You can drag and drop your things in, and they give you some various tools and stuff. But it costs more. So the very, very basic one is £7.50 a month. So that's double the basic WordPress one. Core is even more, and then the recommended one is, again, £20 a month. Now, again, they offer you a free domain. You'll see this a lot. They will often offer you a free domain. Now, a domain doesn't cost very much. You're going to see in a minute, it's £3 or £4. If you buy it through them, that's absolutely fine. And it's quite handy maybe to have everything in one place, and they look after it, and they can tell you it's working fine. But if you ever want to move away from Wix or WordPress or any of the others we're going to look at, if you don't control that domain, it can be tricky. Now, they have to let you have it, it's your property, but they can make you jump through some hoops, and they can make it tricky and make it difficult, and then you end up with a stub of it here and a bit there. I advise not to do that, but if you decide to go with one of these, there's nothing wrong with choosing that if that's what you want to do. But you can see these do things, they do commerce and things like that, but I'm not going to talk about selling online today. That's a thing for another day. We're not going to focus on that right now. Another option you've probably heard of, Squarespace. Very similar to Wix. I think they were around first. They, again, will do your websites. They do lots of templates. Now, this lot are even more expensive. Personal is £12 a month. Business is $17 if you want to take payments. And you can go up and up beyond that. They do a free trial, so if you want to give them a go, by all means, try it out. They will do things like commerce. They will do merchandising. They will do newsletters. They will do everything for you, but they're very expensive for a beginner. They're very powerful, very easy to use, good support, but expensive. So again, I'm not going to recommend them today. If you want to try them, go for it. I'm going to recommend something called Card. Now, this is the very, very basic system. You can do a free setup, but we're going to need to pay a bit more than that. So there's a few different levels that they have. I'm going to skip over this. There's a very, very basic level, but it's $9 a year, not per month, per year. So this is a lot better. And you can have 3 sites for that. Now, This doesn't let you use your own domain name though, so we're going to skip ahead to Pro Standard. Now this again, it's $19 per year, not per month. So this is a much, much cheaper option. And you can have 10 sites. So you could have a site for every book, for example, for that money. You could set up a site for everyone in your writers group. You could be the web guru for your writers group. Charge them $1 or $2 each and you've made a profit. You get custom domains, no branding. They don't have their branding stuck all over your website. Nice big images. Do whatever you like. Lots of nice templates. Again, this is drag and drop. This is nice and easy. You can do QR codes. You can do all sorts of clever stuff. Also important is forms you want to be able to do. At some point in the future, we're going to talk about MailerLite for mailing lists. We're not going to do it today, but it's nice to know we can easily do that. You can even put in embedding of payments and stuff. You can get very advanced. Today, as I say, we're going to keep it simple, but that's what we're going to use. So, we need the domain name, and we're going to do that with Namecheap. Now, there are many, many, many places you can buy domains. I'm going to do a blog post listing a bunch of the good ones. I use Namecheap. I like Namecheap. They have never given me any trouble, so that's what I would recommend. And you can see .com, £4.68. So you're spending that. Now that's going to buy that domain for a year, and then it'll renew. It'll probably be a very similar price. Some of the other places where they give you the free domain for a year, the next year they tell you it's going to cost you £50 to renew, or some sum of money to renew, which is fine. They can also do WordPress and hosting and all sorts of other things, but we need to find a domain name. I've already got my author website set up, so I don't need a new one, but just to show you how it works, I'm going to register one for this sort of set of courses that I'm doing. So let's have a look for authorhowto.com and search. It's available. Now I've got a little thing here, I don't know if you can see that, but it gives me a discount with Newcom 598, so always look out to see if you've got a promo code show up. So it's telling me it's going to cost me £6.25 per year, and the retail price is £10.95 a year, so that's fair enough. Now I could also go for howto.guide, which might be a better fit, but that's £25 a year. Got org, bot, net, and then lots and lots of other ones. So author how to Pro, for example, is only £2. Tech is £7.81 and then renews at £40, and so on and so on and so on. These prices are going to vary drastically depending on exactly what you find. I'm going to recommend you always go with a .com if you can, simply because lots of people, when they hear a domain name, will automatically add .com. So you might have authorhowto.guide, and someone's going to type in authorhowto.guide.com, and then they won't find you. So I'm going to go for the normal .com, add it to my cart, and I'm going to try this discount code. It might not give me this because I've already got an account, but we'll find out. So we'll check out 1 year. You would normally want to tick auto renew. I don't need to today. Domain privacy. This is something you do want to turn on. Most places offer it now. It's just so that you don't have your personal details attached to that domain in public. Now they do it for free forever. It's another good reason for it. They're going to try and upsell you everything here now. Premium DNS, don't need it. Stellar web hosting, don't need it. Don't need web hosting. Don't need business email. Now you might want to do this, but there are ways around that. We'll talk about email in another video. SSL certificate. Now, you do want an SSL certificate, but you don't need to buy it here. It's going to come through from card automatically. You don't need a VPN. You don't need any of this stuff, basically. So, let's put in my promo code and see what happens. Yeah, I've already used it. Now, it'll probably work for you if you're setting up a new account. I've already got one, so it knows I'm not a new customer. But that's fine. So I've got my domain registration, domain privacy, and I don't want any of this other stuff. So we're going to confirm the order. Okay, so it's using my previous information, because again I already have an account. If you don't, you'll just need to put some in. I'm going to check out with PayPal. I'm going to cut off the recording while I do that because, you know, I want to help you set up a website. I don't want to pay for your website, so I'm going to keep my bank details to myself. So I will be right back. Alright, so I just had to authorize myself with PayPal and we're done. So we now own a domain name. I'm going to need to blur the address information there, but there is my website. Perfect. So we're going to head on over to Card. Very simple. Simple, free, fully responsive one-page sites. Now this is going to be very basic, but you're going to see we'll be able to move this somewhere else if we decide that this is not good enough for us in the future. But for now it certainly will be. So I'm going to choose a starting point. Now we've got lots and lots of templates to choose from. These obviously can all be edited, but you can see they've got all kinds of information here, all kinds of options. So we're just going to pick one that we like the look of, and we've also got different types. We've got profile, landing, form, portfolio. Let's try landing pages and see what we've got. I'm going to go with this one just because it's up the top here. So try Pro, free for 7 days. Perfect. We don't even have to sign up right now. And then it's $19 a year, as we said. So custom domains and full SSL support. That's what we want to see. Select and start free trial. Yes, please. Thanks. Your free trial will start once you publish it. So you can play with it for a couple of days and then get back to it. These are the instructions, how to work it all. Various adds and elements and things, blah de blah de blah. Okay, got it. So I've got an image here. I'm going to upload a new one, and let's go to my downloads. I've already got a cover image there. Let's crop that. I'm just going to fast forward through this bit because it took longer than I realised. Obviously you want to spend a little bit of time on this, make sure you're doing it neatly. I'm really just trying to get back to showing you what to do. So there we go. That fast. Now we've got lots of other stuff down here. I've tidied this up now. I'm going to go back to desktop mode, and down the bottom here you can see we've got some icons and things. So I'm just going to change this. Copyright 2024 code. Get rid of the lorem ipsum. You can see you can format all this as well. I'm just doing this very, very quickly to prove a point. And now we can change all of our icons. So I don't actually want X, I want YouTube. Once again, you don't need to see me going through and changing every icon and every social media link. You get the idea. This is very, very simple to do. Just click and drag and move around. Okay, so I've set up a nice simple website. We're all good. And then we're going to hit save to publish. So I need to set up an email account. I'm going to do username and a password, agree to the terms of use. Now you've got to put in a title, a quick description. Again, this can all be changed later. Now I can just publish it straight to a Card Co URL, but I'm going to publish it to a custom domain. Now I remember I set up authorhow2.com. And then I need to add these elements to my domain. So this is where it gets the slightest bit techie. So we're going to go back to Namecheap, main list, authorhow2.com, manage, advanced DNS. There we are, advanced DNS. So we've already got an @ record here. So let's just add what it tells us to add. Add new record. We want an A record. The host is @ and the IP address is what they told us to add. So I've just copied that in from this website here. A @ number, A @ number, and then we hit tick. Save changes. Good. That's in there. Now we've got another one to add. A @ and a second number, and that's okay. So add another one, A @ a second number. Now this is basically just telling anyone who comes and looking, they know that Namecheap have registered this domain. So they're going to say, hey, I want to know where this website is. So this @ symbol literally just means this website is going to be at this IP address or this IP address. Card have given us 2. That's for redundancy. So if something goes wrong with one of their systems, the other one will take over. And then we just need to add a CNAME. Don't worry about what all this means. Saying www wants to go to authorhowto.com. So this means if somebody types in authorhowto.com, these A addresses, A type records will be the ones that it looks up. But if someone types in www, we also want to tell it, go there. So we're going to copy that over as well. So, whoops, that's the wrong website. Add a new record. Now this one we want a CNAME, and the host was www, and the target is authorhowto.com. Now there's a dot on the end, so if you copy paste you'll be okay, but you do need to do that. Right, that should be all we need to do. Now this can take a couple of hours to synchronize, so don't panic if it doesn't work right away. That being said, I'm going to give it a go right away. So it says in fact here, once added, please allow up to an hour for the domain to initialize and for SSL to take effect. But in the meantime you can hit publish. It will publish. And I need to check my email. Okay. The instructions have been sent to my email address. I will take care of that, and then we will see whether this website is actually up and running. Alright, I've verified my email address, and it says my site has been successfully published. So, if I hit view site, it's not there yet. It's telling me that it's being impersonated. Like I said, it can take a couple hours. Don't panic. If we go back into here and hit OK, we can see that our site exists and it is still initializing. Please allow up to an hour to complete. So what I'll do is I'll pause now, we'll go away, we'll come back once this is set up. I'm not going to change anything else, this will just be what happens. Alright, see you in a bit. Alright, it's been a little while, let's see what we've got. If I hit refresh, it still thinks it's initializing. But if I load the website, there we go. So, that's it. Done and done. You'll notice that I didn't have to enter any credit card information. I'm on the free trial, but they haven't asked for any payment details yet. That'll obviously come later, but it means you can actually get this set up, decide if it's for you, and then if you want to move somewhere else, you just have to go back to your DNS settings and change these numbers according to wherever you want to take your domain name. This is the beauty of it. It's nice and easy for you to just point this wherever you want. So that's pretty much it. By the time you come to this website, it's going to look a bit different. This is my author how-to website, so I'm not going to keep it like this. But this should give you an idea of the speed at which you can just set up a quick online presence. What we're going to do in the next video is, instead of just having this be a link, we'll turn this into a form to start grabbing email addresses for your newsletter. And best of all, that'll all be free. So I hope you come along for that, and the easiest way to do that is subscribe down below. Yes, I know I'm doing the typical YouTuber thing, but if you subscribe then you won't miss out. Alright, I hope this has been helpful, and if there's some interest in something else, then please do let me know what you'd like me to cover. Thanks very much. Bye bye.